Hi beautiful souls, it's Tan back here today with you on this Astrology, Human Design and Gene Keys channel. And today I have a very new type of video happening today because we're going to be looking at the series Gotham, you know, with Bruce Wayne, Batman. And I want to look at the villains of Gotham, the vibrant, colorful, and interesting villains of Gotham and what their human design type is. But before you continue watching this video, don't forget to head over to my website where you can find some of the services that I have available there, offered for you guys, and meet your Tan Astrology team, some amazing, beautiful, and talented astrologers that are working with us and are part of my team, who will be doing birth chart readings for you guys. And as well as don't forget to head over to my art YouTube channel. If you haven't been there yet, do check it out. Like some of the videos that you see there that you like. And yes, let's get started with today's video. So the villains of Gotham, there's so many villains in Gotham. It's like there's just too much to count, right? Crime is happening every day in Gotham. But I wanted to point out a few of the adorable ones today and link them to some of the human design body types. So we have 5 human design body types. There are generators and manifesting generators, projectors, manifestors, and reflectors. And I've made a video to introduce the types and to kind of go into their energy and how that works in an introduction video that I made a couple of years ago, so you can check out that video first if you're not familiar with the human design types. So you can click on the link up above and the description box below to watch that video. So once you've gotten acquainted a little bit with the types and just knowing what your type is, I hope that you're going to enjoy watching this video. And if you feel like you resonate with some of the things that I say here, comment below. And if you feel like you have something else that you want to share, or some of the villains matching up with some of the other human design body energy types, then just comment below as well. And by the way, I hope this is not going to be a spoiler alert. So if you guys haven't finished watching Gotham or you haven't watched that series yet, but you know, if you're also like not interested in watching, so it depends. Like I hope it's not going to be a spoiler alert for some of you guys. All right, so we're going to start off with the manifestors in human design and which villain I think matches, or villains matches with the energy type of manifestors. So first and foremost, I think that Fish Mooney, who is the former member of the Falcone crime family and the owner of Mooney's nightclub at the beginning of the Gotham series. She works for Don Falcone as one of his top lieutenants, but she was plotting against him so that she could take over his criminal empire. That Fish Mooney, I think she's definitely that manifestor archetype, because she is a woman who is very intimidating. And I feel that manifestors have that type of energy about them. They can be intimidating because they're the type that when they want to do something with their creative urge, so she's got her own destructive creative urges, they don't want anybody to get in their way when they're pursuing it. And they can kind of make things happen really quickly. So Fish Mooney has that kind of urge to do things and that power of intimidation about her that sometimes manifestors can also have. Just the way that she pursues things and the pursuit of power, which is, you know, something that doesn't have to be a bad thing, but it's something that manifestors, you know, can definitely want to deep inside of themselves be searching for and be pursuing the power and the peace that comes with having the power of autonomy. So I think that villain is a representative of the archetype of the manifestor energy type. Another villain that I think also can really represent the energy type of the manifestor is Theo Gallivan. So Theo Gallivan is, well, he started off wanting to be the mayor of Gotham and did become the mayor of Gotham. So we already see that kind of like, I actually have a manifestor friend who is in politics and wants to rule, say, like certain districts in Bangkok, because of that leadership quality of manifestors and not wanting to work under anybody else. And so I think Theo Gallivan has that energy with him. But then he revealed later on that he was a descendant of the Dumas family who wanted to seek revenge in Gotham. But he was murdered by Jim Gordon. And then was revived by Hugo Strange in Arkham. But yeah, he came back after his death as Azrael to try and kill Jim Gordon again. And I think that even when he came back as Azrael, he was also really still in that manifestor energy where there's a goal he wants to pursue. There's an urge to kill Jim Gordon, and he cannot be stopped. He was a very powerful villain there in Gotham as well. And the third villain and the last villain that I think really embodies this manifestor energy is Ra's al Ghul. And I think Ra's al Ghul was considered a super villain as well, because he's a former healer, and his name actually translates into head of the demon, the leader of the League of Assassins and criminal mastermind. So he's been trained over like hundreds of years of various different forms of martial arts, and he has the ability to kind of revive the dead by using his pool of green water. But yes, Ra's al Ghul is an interesting one. You know, he's the manifestor that's like an old soul type of a manifestor, because he's so like he's a manifestor that's really looking for peace, I feel, because his life has been this, you know, mission, following this mission in his life, and he eventually wants Bruce Wayne to kill him again so he can kind of be at peace. So I think he has that energy where, and this is the thing about all of these villains that we're looking at for the manifestor energy, with the manifestor energy being sort of closed and repelling. I think that these villains also have that type of energy about them where when you see them, you're like, whoa, like that intimidation, and you're like, you definitely don't want to be up fighting against any of these villains, unlike some of the other villains that we're going to be talking about later on. Like, and I don't think that Jim Gordon himself has even thought of like putting any of these villains in jail, because it's just not, it's almost like not possible to be able to do that with their energy and the super villains that they are. So that's the manifestor villains in Gotham. The projector villains in Gotham, let's get into that. If you watch Gotham, I wonder if you can guess who I'm going to say for a projector villain. Who could it be that is a projector villain in Gotham, walking around with his beloved hat and has a way with questions? Yes, you guessed it, it's the Riddler. Edward Nygma, who works at the GCPD first, but then later on he becomes the Riddler. And he's known for his green question mark covered costumes and the riddles and the puzzles that he's obsessed with. And, you know, whenever he is up for crime, he would make it so that if you could solve his puzzles and his riddles, then you would not be harmed, we can say, with regards to his schemes and his plans. But if you can't solve his riddles and puzzles, then he's gonna kill you. So that's just something that, and when Jim Gordon is also like trying to solve his crimes, he has to follow a set of riddles there. So, and I love this because like, I think I read this somewhere that projectors are here on the planet with regards to Ra and human design, not necessarily for the physical transformation of the planet, but more so for the intellectual transformation of the planet. And of course, Enigma and the Riddler, they are, you know, super intellectual and super like here to wreck our brains with some of the things that they come up with. And at some point you could even see like sometimes he's on the side of Jim Gordon, and when he is on the side of Jim Gordon, he uses his brain power to help Gordon solve certain crimes as well. Now the second villain that I think represents the projector energy type is also calls himself the Philosopher, or Hugo Strange himself. So Hugo Strange is the former chief of psychiatry and also the director of Arkham Asylum, he was involved in the experimentation on human beings, and also was a former schoolmate of Thomas Wayne, who is Bruce Wayne's father. So he's the one that is kind of like behind the transformation of majority of the villains in Gotham. He's kind of the one that actually made them into a villain. So after these criminals were killed, or sort of killed, they would be or sent to Arkham, depending on how they were captured. Either they're sent to Arkham or they're killed. Hugo Strange would take them into his laboratory and, with regards to his experiments, change them and can change their DNA and make them into makes them into like stronger villains, and he would release them back into Gotham, right? So that they can just cause more havoc and crime in Gotham. But he was working under somebody else. But yeah, I think that's just a really good representation of like we could say the superpower of projectors here on this planet as well, is to be able to kind of look at how the energy and the physicalities of others, especially generators and manifesting generators on the planet, and kind of have their way with that, influence that, and make that more efficient. But of course, Hugo Strange was not doing that, but I think it's along the same lines here. And last but not least, I think that another, projector villain, and this one is, I debated with myself with this for a while, because at first, I'm talking here about Barbara Keane. At first I was thinking that she must be a generator type, because she's all about pleasure, and she seems to have a lot of this energy to pursue excitement and pleasure and the good things in life. So I thought she's got to be that projector, that generator energy. But then towards I think it was the 4th season of Gotham, she was given the ability to become, or the power of becoming, the demon's head from Ra's al Ghul. But then when she got that power, it was revealed that, and it became clearer to me that Barbara's whole journey of why she was a villain in the first place is that she was seeking for recognition. She wanted to feel special. She wanted to be recognized by the world, by Jim Gordon, for who she was and for the things that she could do, but she never got that recognition, especially not from her parents, which is why she killed them. And so that's why she's becoming this villain, to search for that recognition. So, and of course, the themes of a projector is to be recognized and to recognize others and to find success. So that's why I changed my mind. I thought, oh, Barbara Keane, I think she is more of a projector type, energy type after all. All right, so let's go on to the manifesting generators. So manifesting generators are going to be a mix of mainly generator energy, but they have the ability to want to get things done like a manifestor without being disturbed. They can experience both frustration and anger, right? So there's 2 of them in Gotham that I feel embodies the manifesting generator energy, and that's Butch and Tabitha Gallivan. Yeah, so Tabitha Gallivan she was a sister of Theo Gallivan, the manifestor villain that we're looking at. And when she was working with Theo, she was very ruthless. And she doesn't hesitate, when she wants to kill. And she's basically, in a sense, like, helps Theo Gallivan to get a lot of the shortcuts done in his schemes and plans by killing. So that would be by killing, but that's the manifesting generator energy, is they're able to get things done faster than most people, and they can be looking for shortcuts in order to do things more efficiently. So I think we have that going on with her there. But then later on, after Theo dies, she then works with Barbara Keane to run nightclubs together. And so she's got that, a little bit of that like versatility about her, and the ability to kind of do many different things, which is what the manifesting generator energy also has. And I think that that's the difference between, like, you'll see when I talk about generator villains, is that when we're looking at these manifesting generator villains, they have a more like no nonsense approach to them, which I also feel that manifesting generators also have that aura about them, that they're more of no nonsense. I got to get the work done. I'm going to do it as quickly as possible. They're buzzing in that way. Whereas the generators are more like, they tend to be more excitable, like to play, and they have more of that like playful energy going, which you'll see when I talk about the generator villains and how that's different from like Tabitha, who would be more manifesting generator. And then Butch. So Butch is a criminal in Gotham, and he was first Oh, he's done various different things. First, he was a former right man of Fish Mooney, but then he became a second in command under Oswald Cobblepot, or the Penguin, after he was brainwashed by Victor Zsasz. And then he died and then was revived back again by the swamps of Gotham. And then he became Solomon Grundy when he was revived again from the dead, working with Enigma. So you also see here with Butch like that varied things that happened in his life and his ability to kind of like take on many different things. But then again, within the aura of Butch, we see that just kind of like Tabitha, they have a similar aura of like this no-nonsense aura. If you want the job to get done, I'll do it for you, and I'll do it in the quickest way possible, and get that done. So that's why I would look at Butch Gilzean and Tabitha Galavan as a manifesting generator type. I also feel I'm going to add a little bit here that Bane, who appears in the last season of Gotham, the last season of Gotham only. So he's not a big supervillain in the series. But yeah, I think Bane also has that energy of the manifesting generator as well. Now let's talk about generators. So generators, as a villain, I've got two of them. I've got three of them, but two of them are going to be, I think, maybe even obvious. So I think Mr. Freeze and Firefly are both typical kind of like generator types and villains because they run on energy. Like these two, they don't think when they're going to do something. Like they're like the energy first. Like whatever their energy field and their sacral wants them to do, they just go for it. Like Mr. Freeze just goes and freezes people. He doesn't have to think very much. Like Firefly, that fire is just everywhere. He doesn't have to think much. And there's also like this metaphor that I really like of like how Mr. Freeze and both Firefly, when they unleash their powers, it just kind of spreads out. And that's kind of like that generator energy that's kind of open and enveloping and kind of hold a room, kind of expands and can encompass many people in one go, which is both of them have that kind of power about them. And the most important generator villain we've got is Jerome Valeska and Jeremiah Valeska. And I think it's very obvious why they would be a generator villain. So Jerome Valeska is the brother of Jeremiah Valeska, and he killed his mother. And after he killed his mother, he went to Arkham, but he got out of Arkham, and he has a group of villains that he works with. And he is very famous, as we all know, because of his laugh and his energy. So he's all about kind of wanting to make Gotham a place where people laugh more. He wants to spread that contagious sort of happy energy. Like a generator archetype, right? Generator energy. But of course he's not going about doing it the right way because he's a villain, so he's going to go about by killing people who are not supporting his cause and things like that. But people love him. And that's kind of like that generator energy. Like everybody just loves a generator energy, a good, juicy, warm, open, enveloping generator energy. But then, he was killed, and then Jeremiah becomes, I shouldn't say he was killed, he sort of killed himself. But then Jeremiah, who is his brother, takes on his role as the next, you can say, heir, to become the next Jerome Valeska, but known as Jeremiah Valeska. And the important thing is, at the end of season 5, Jeremiah Valeska is probably what we're going to come to know as the Joker in Gotham. So he does become that villain that is not going to follow the rules, that is super rebellious, he's going to just do his own thing, but he's going to have fun while he's doing it, and he's got both lovers and haters, but a lot of lovers and a lot of haters as well. So I would definitely say that those two are going to be generator villains. And last but not least, our reflector villains. Oh, this is nice. Both of these reflector villains are some of my favorite villains in Gotham. So the first reflector villain is Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin. What other human design body type, what other human design energy type could he be? So Oswald Cobblepot first worked as an umbrella man for Fish Mooney. And he was just kind of like following Fish Mooney around, being ordered by her, and Fish Mooney would always call him Penguin because he has a limp, and he would hate that. But then he eventually becomes we can say he was like the king of Gotham. He rules Gotham basically, and he is always trying to come back and rule Gotham. But I think I would choose him to be a reflector type because he's a reflection of the environments around him. Because if you really understand the story of Oswald Cobblepot and his love for his mother, he's a villain that is driven by love. He's driven by so much by love, and I believe in the deepest part of my heart that if Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin, were to be living in an environment where there was just so much love happening there, just maybe this is just true for all of us anyways, but I believe that he would be also one of the most loving people you could ever find, right? He would not hurt a little child. He would not hurt any kind of animal. But it's because he's this reflector and he's just reflecting back the environments of Gotham. You see that because Gotham's such a cruel place where everybody's just so greedy and there's just crimes everywhere, that Oswald Cobblepot is just reflecting that energy. And he's kind of doing those things, but from time to time you'll see that he's filled with so much love in his life, and he's seeking so much for love in his life. And his life is filled with surprises, right? And he's learned to embrace the joy of the surprises that comes into his life. So I think that the Penguin is definitely a reflector type. The second villain that I think is a reflector type in Gotham is Ivy Peppers, aka Poison Ivy. And I think this is going to be very obvious to you guys there. I even think she has her son in Gene Key and Human Design Gate 19 as well, because she's all about plants and wanting to care for the environment. Of course, she's not going about doing it the right way because she's killing people with plants. So she's an extremist in that case, where she wants to use plants to kill human beings because human beings have been harming the environment and not taking good care of plants and greenery and the environment. So I think that's a really, really powerful connection that we can make there with Ivy Pepper and being a reflector, and kind of like what we're actually kind of having in the world right now with regards to how we treat the environment, right? So yeah, beautiful souls. I hope that was an enjoyable video in some ways for Gotham fans out there and human design fans out there. I truly enjoyed making this video for you guys, and if I watch any other interesting series in the future, I'm definitely going to link it back to astrology or human design or gene keys in some ways, like I like to do from time to time. So yeah, that's going to be it. Comment below what you think about this video. What's your human design type? And do you resonate with some of these villains in one way or another? And I guess as a projector, I do resonate with being Hugo Strange in one way or another, and kind of transforming the generators, you generators out there that are kind of watching in the audience, you know. But yes, don't forget to head over to my website if you're interested in birth chart readings and services we have available there. We have a beautiful team of astrologers who are very excited to be doing readings for you guys. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below if you haven't. If you have already, thank you very much for coming along, beautiful souls. And that's it for today. Have a beautiful day. Bye.